Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Late for the Party on Anchor FM. I am your host, Melodious. We're going to get into an In My Mind quickfire review of the movie Venom and how I am shocked at, as I'm going to give it a review, but also I'm going to give my 2 cents on the end of my mind about it. But honestly, I'm gonna say some things about this film that I must say that I was very shocked, but also very surprised. And I think all I can say about this segment that I am very surprised at the results of what this movie has actually done. So without further ado, here we go. Pretty much how Sony decided to do a movie about a Spider-Man villain and give him his own film, but not to include anything, shape, or form about Spider-Man. So, for all the comic book heads like myself who knows about the whole origin of how Venom became, it's hard to do a film that pretty much started it all with Spider-Man. There would be no Venom if it wasn't for Spider-Man. You know, everybody knows that Spider-Man was in the Secret Wars. He got the suit because his original suit was damaged, and he thought the suit was not organic. He didn't know it was organic. He thought it was actually like a technological suit, which it formed on his body and everything else. It enhanced his strength, and he was able to shoot his webs instead of under his wrist with his web shooters. It was shooting out of the palm, out of the top of his hand. So the thing is that he didn't know it was organic. He didn't know it was alive. So eventually the suit started feeding off of his aggression and everything else, which made Spider-Man more aggressive when he was fighting other villains and everything. And it kind of reared its ugly head and everything. So yeah, man, it's pretty crazy when you think about it, because it's that's how it kind of started it out. And Eddie Brock was a character who was a reporter, he was a reporter like how Peter Parker was, but he was doing some underhanded shit. He framed one guy for being a villain, and Spider-Man actually caught the real villain. So it got pretty much got Eddie Brock fired. So, and while Spider-Man was trying to get the suit off of him at the cathedral where Eddie Brock just so happened to be praying, that's how they became to be Venom, because of the church bells knocking the sense out of the suit, out of the symbiote, to where it got off of Peter quick enough for him to escape. So, but then that's where the bond between Spider-Man and Venom became, because not only that Venom has a hatred for the symbiote has a hatred for Spider-Man because of the fact that he didn't want to be bonded with him, and then also with Eddie blaming Spider-Man. So they both got linked up, and then they all realized that, it's fucking Peter Parker. There you go. So that's how that origin became to be with Venom. That's how I knew it. But we're going to get on to the movie. So the thing is about this movie is that Eddie Brock is a newspaper reporter. He's a reporter. He's living in San Francisco with his fiance. He's doing he's basically trying to expose the Life Corporation with some dirty deeds, because he found out some information, because his fiance also works at the Life Corporation. Pretty much that's more or less the plot. The symbiotes come from outer space. They were picked up by a couple of astronauts, and then they crash landed to Earth. Pretty much that's how that follows. And, you know, I don't want to get into full-length details of what's going on, but from what I know about this, it's kind of like, for what I was expecting the story to be, I was expecting it to be one way, but then it turned out to be completely another. Like, it was more or less kind of like, it was almost like watching Upgrade. You know, like the film that just recently came out not that long ago with the guy who kind of looks like Tom Hardy. And, like, instead of it being an alien, it was all technological and stuff like that. It almost felt like that in its entirety. And, you know, and the sad part is I liked Upgrade a little better. I enjoyed it, and also considering the fact that they kind of like, they made Venom PG-13. I mean, and don't get me wrong, this movie had its problems, a lot of it, but to be a train wreck, it was still enjoyable. Like, I enjoyed the fact that, like, Tom Hardy is a dope actor, and I liked how he was interacting with, when he was playing both as the Venom suit, as Venom and Eddie Brock, and he's sitting there talking to himself. That was cool. I did not mind that. That was actually awesome. And also, I liked the doctor who was trying to help him out. Like, he was actually cool. Like, you know, like, not to get into look, fuck it. All right, I'll get into a couple spoilers. After, like, Eddie Brock decided to look at his girlfriend, like, look at his fiance's work, her classified stuff at her job, he went on an interview trying to expose her boss for, you know, for, like, using homeless people for his experiments, and homeless people are dying. So, which caused Eddie to lose his job and everything else, and 6 months later, and it's like, if you're a fucking reporter, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. 6 months later, you're a fucking reporter, you live in San Francisco, and you have no money. How are you living in San Francisco and you don't have a job? I mean, how much is unemployment getting you as a fucking reporter if you lose your job? You know what I'm saying? Like, quiet as kept, and you're in San Francisco, probably one of the most expensive, next to, like, New York and, like, maybe LA, one of the most expensive places to live at, especially living in a fucking apartment. I mean, even the most ran-down apartments in San Francisco are probably going to fetch you about probably double the same amount of money it is out here in LA. But aside from all that, we're talking about, you know, he's going to a bar, he's giving a homeless person $20. I mean, that's pretty fucking crazy. I'm thinking that, like, it would have been like, you know what, and with that, I thought, like, how the trailer was looking, like he was in the hospital and stuff like that. I thought that Eddie Brock was actually going to be homeless, and, like, he lost his job, he lost his fiance, he lost everything, and so he's got no money, he's living on the street. I thought they were going to go that kind of route to where, like, damn, like, he's down on his luck, so the Life Corporation, like, you know, got him in a drunken stupor and everything else, and, you know, like, he's one of those people, like, this is, like, his one last hurrah, so, like, they don't recognize him, he's all, like, bearded up and shit like that, and, you know, he goes in, and next thing you know, he gets attached to one of the symbiotes. That would have made more sense to me. You know, and then, like, okay, he breaks out, they're trying to control him, he's like, nah, fuck that, I'm Venom, I can do whatever I want. Like, they're trying to, like, I'm thinking, like, that's what they're gonna do. The symbiote's sitting there trying to escape because they're doing all these experiments on on the symbiotes, and like they found out their weakness or something, like it's sonic vibrations and freaking fire. So the Venom symbiote is sitting there like, hey, I need to get the fuck out of here, dude. I need to get attached to somebody, but everybody I'm trying to touch on is dying every chance I get. So, oh shit, this one actually works. Hey, Eddie, guess what? Let's get the fuck out of here. Oh, I can read your thoughts and everything. Oh, these people hurt your feelings? Oh, let's work together and get revenge. Ta-da! That sounds like a better movie to me than fucking what I watched. And even with that, it's kind of like what I said. It's like, there's just so much that was going on. The train wreck and everything. And then also, it's like the villain was like, can we get a more intimidating villain? I mean, come on. There's like, all right, it's already been like 3 movies that we've gotten to where like we've had a villain versus the hero with the same kind of fucking powers. Like, all right, we got that with Black Panther. We got that with Ant-Man. We got that. Now we got that with freaking, and now we got that with freaking Venom and everything else. And it's like, it gets a little repetitive, and like, you know, there's just a lot of things about the movie, even with the graphics and everything. I mean, the CGI and everything, it doesn't look as polished. And then everything that's with like going on with Eddie is that, you know, everything that's going on with Venom is like at night. So you already got this dark glob running around in the darkness, and then guess what? He's dark as fuck. So it's like it's not really meshing very well. And then the villain Riot, he's like a darkish gray. So you got a black glob versus a darkish gray glob. So when they're fighting each other, it's kind of like all over the place. So it almost feels like watching one of those Transformer films, to where it's like, it's just like a collective mess, like a bunch of bees or a bunch of insects flying around each other, and it's just like all this like chaos that's like going on, and it's not like a synchronized fight. So it's just all running around. So either way, man, I mean, but like I said, even with all the problems that this film had, low-key, it was still enjoyable. Like, maybe it's because that Tom Hardy did his very best to do what he could with whatever story that he had. But, I mean, whatever script that he had, and, you know, Tom Hardy is a dope actor. Like, I'm always going to support all the stuff that he's done, from Taboo, from Warrior, all the stuff that he's done. I mean, fuck, even Dark Knight. But, like I said, like, he's a dope actor, and honestly, he put this movie all on his fucking shoulders like Atlas, and he did everything he could to, like, give a solid, decent performance. I mean, even in the beginning where he's like, you know, like he's muttering to himself, he's talking like, I don't know, like, you know, he's like unsure of himself. But when you look at Eddie Brock, like, for him, like, dude, this dude is like built like a fucking tank. Like, even in Warrior, like, he doesn't look like intimidating, like, well, he does look intimidating. In fact, freaking Tom Hardy playing Eddie Brock looked more intimidating than the freaking villain himself. And I don't even remember the villain's name, but he just kind of reminds me of the dude who's the guy who runs Tesla. So, the Musk dude. I'll call him Musk. Fuck it. So he reminds me of that guy, but the guy who I'm talking about, the villain, he was also one of the characters who was in he was in Rogue One as one of the guys, I think one of the pilots or something who was on Rogue One. So, but either way, I mean, like I said, the film was still enjoyable because I liked the interaction between him and with Eddie and the symbiote, and how they were going back and forth with each other. I think that was the cool part about the film as well, and just like how he's sitting here trying to cope. But I noticed, like, even with all of that, there's a lot of things about the film that it did not have. Like, it was a trip. Like there was something missing. Even that Tom Hardy said there was about 40 minutes of the movie that they cut out that was very, very good, that he liked. And I mean, that must be playing a pretty big role, because it's like, if you had to cut out 40 minutes of what the actor liked, and I mean, that might have played a serious part. And there's a lot of things about the film that just doesn't make any sense. That, like I said, like, I pitched a better idea for the film than what the actual writers probably did for the film, the finished product. So, and like I said, like, also just with the fact that it wasn't rated R, so there's no blood or anything else, but there's a lot of things that's going on, like even in the commercial where you see, like, Riot doing the little axe thing with his hand, and you mean to tell me that there is no blood? I didn't see no blood in this film. Not even a drop. So, I mean, and it's kind of hard to swallow for a film that, you know, you got an alien symbiote, like, pretty much dick riding on you and, like, taking advantage of your body, and it's like, oh, guess what? I'm hungry. I need to eat some brains, you know? I need brains to survive. So, you know, it's like, how are you, like, trying to say, like how this character is supposed to be? I mean, that's one of the definitive things. And it's like, when he actually does, like, bite somebody, where's the body? Where's the blood? Where's the evidence that this person did what he did? I mean, it's just like and then, like, motherfuckers just disappeared. It's like Predator, like, damn, where's the body? I can't find it. You know, but I guess that's how I look at it. I mean, I kind of went on, I mean, obviously, it's doing very well at the box office. It's made 80 million. It made 80 million. I was shocked that it made 80 million. The only thing, I mean, the film itself only grossed, I mean, the film itself was only 100 million to when they made it. It was only 100 mil. So 80 million, they got their money's worth out of it, because I thought it was going to be far less. I thought it was going to be like 50 million or somewhere in that caliber. But, I mean, not only that it broke a record for being in October as the most highest paid film in October, oddly enough, but it did what it did. It served its purpose. So, obviously, it's going to make its money to where it's going to be a part 2. So, I mean, looks like Sony got a 1-up, but, you know, it feels like kind of one of those films that back in the, like, where Ben Affleck, Daredevil, and, like, Nicolas Cage, Ghost Rider, like, we didn't get all the, like, we're getting all these heroes, but we're not getting, like, what the heroes really could be, like how Marvel Studios is kicking out their heroes. You know what I'm saying? That's how it felt like. That's how it felt for me, like how Venom felt. Like, if Venom came out the time that Ben Affleck's Daredevil and Ghost Rider did, and Elektra, and the first 2 Fantastic Fours, that's how it felt to me. Because, like, we got the character that we wanted, but they still and they did all the things that he would do in the comic books, but they didn't, like, keep, like, his, like, actual character, like, the character, like, was not where it was. And, I mean, like I said, I mean, it's kind of hard. It's really hard to, like, swallow, because there's, like, so much wrong with it, but it was still enjoyable, because that's all we were able to get, considering the fact that, like, what we got from Spider-Man 3 and Quiet as Kept, the origin of Venom in Spider-Man 3 was more accurate, but we just got a piss poor person to play Venom in the movie. So, you know, honestly, and I'm gonna say it like this: Venom was better than Spider-Man 3, hands down. Matter of fact, I think Venom was actually better than the last two Amazing Spider-Man films at that. So, I mean, there's a lot of things I could say that was very problematic. So, either way, on a quickfire review note, so far I'm going to give this film at least a solid 6, and I'm going to give it a 6. Because I would say give it a 6.5, a 6.5, but I mean, with it still being enjoyable, I'll give it a 6.5. I'll give it a 6.5. Because like I said, it was still enjoyable. It was still bad, but it was enjoyable. Like, it's weird to do something did so bad, it was still enjoyable to watch. So it's like, wow, I can't believe I'm actually saying that, because most of the stuff that was going on in the film didn't really wow me. It didn't really wow, like that was unexpected. Like, wow, I didn't see that coming. Like, wow, the action is off the hook. It was like, it just didn't wow me. So that's why I'm giving it only a 6.5. Like, it didn't wow me, but it was still enjoyable. It's kind of hard to say that, but it did it. It managed to pull that off. Like, you could be at a 7, but you're not. So, either way, man, this is the In My Mind / quickfire review on the movie Venom. This is Melodious signing off from Late for the Party. And as always, y'all, never ever be late for the party and keep the party going.